I had. I
All right.
Actually, I before we are starting to take the lesson, the first
Uh-huh.
take a first lesson, I
Yes.
already had dinner.
Oh, I see. All
Mm.
right, good. Do you usually spend your Saturdays doing something productive like this, or sometimes do you also get to have some rest?
Uh, it depends on my condition. Actually, today is as usual. I Last night I slept late and I wake up late in the morning.
Oh, I
And
see. Uh-huh.
I had lunch with my family,
Mm-hmm.
and I took a rest in the whole day, in the afternoon.
Okay, I
And,
rested this afternoon.
right. And I went to the supermarket with my wife to buy something good,
Okay.
and then went to the coffee shop. Coffee shop, right?
Yeah, coffee
Take
shop or the cafe.
right cafe to take a
Mm-hmm.
coffee and study some study English.
I see. Study English at the cafe?
Right, and it's it's common things to study English in
Oh.
the cafe in Korea.
Oh, really? And I'm
Right,
just curious, how is it done in the coffee shop? Do
it's
you
very
have somebody to study with?
right. Anyway, because because in the coffee shop it's very comfortable
Mm-hmm.
to study English. Also,
Mm-hmm.
the coffee shop provide offer the free Wi-Fi. So
Oh, I see.
it's
It
very
makes it
useful
convenient.
to access. It's
Mm-hmm.
useful to use internet to watch the movie in
Uh-huh.
the movie club, something like that.
Right. Right, exactly.
Mm.
So what kind of English studies were you doing at the cafe earlier? Was it self-study or were you studying with a friend?
Uh, in my case, I usually study with my wife because
Oh,
my wife the major is English, so
oh,
we are studying together. But
I see.
that is also depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are prepared to study alone. Uh, some
Yeah,
people prefer to study together with
I
the other
see.
person.
Right, and both methods sounds very effective. It really depends on the personality of the person and what the individual goals are.
Right.
Now that I know that your wife is an English major, I feel very confident for your two kids who is in the process of mastering their own English skills when they get to study in China, to prepare them to study in
Right.
China. Okay, so
R-
so let's now go to the story I've been wanting to hear from since a few minutes ago. There, I'm sure that in your career you've had a lot of accomplishments, and this question would ask about the greatest accomplishment. So, among all the accomplishments you had,
Mhm.
you would need to choose one which is the most outstanding, the one which stands among the rest.
Um,
So let's hear it. What is your greatest accomplishment?
I did a great job for a long time because I worked for a long time in Samsung Electronics.
Hmm.
Among them, I chose one is uh, um, okay. Uh, let's start. Because I worked in product planning team, I can handle a lot of new technologies. Uh,
Hmm.
Even though the new technology has a lot of benefit, but it is hard to complete development and needs to invest tremendous money and time.
Mhm.
So, relevant departments, including the development team, a marketing team, and sales team, uh, do not want to develop such the high technology product. 3 years ago, I suggest new technology called TDDI. TDDI stands for Touch Display Driver IC. It is a kind of integrated IC between display IC and touch IC in smartphone. And as expected, all relevant department members opposed to develop that product. However, I tried to discuss all the design specification with development team members every night and persuaded marketing and sales members to accept my ideas.
Mhm.
Finally, it successfully finished development and the TDDI increased market share by 2 times and made the sales more than $100 million. And now
Wow. Mhm.
all competitors are copying our product and follow our strategy. So I'm very confident to say that I
Mhm.
uh, did greatest accomplishment.
Wow, this is awesome. I'm feeling chills as we speak. So everybody had, or all the competitors would have to copy what you did because this is an innovation. People
Right,
were afraid to even develop this because, of course, it's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of effort to try something that has probably not been tested
right,
during the time that you thought about it.
hmm
And now everybody is using TDDI.
right, right.
I need to know more about this. And this is not really related to your answer. I'm just asking this because I don't know much about this. What does touch, display, I forgot the others, integration mean?
Uh, in the smartphone,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of the semiconductor components.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Among them, uh, there are touch IC and display IC.
Okay.
Touch,
IC stands for what?
integrated circuit.
Okay. All
Uh,
right.
so those are semiconductor
Mm-hmm.
components.
Mm-hmm.
And touch IC is responsible for operating the touch in the
Okay.
display. And
The
display
response
IC,
after you touch.
right, right. Display
Mm-hmm.
IC is very simple to charge the operating
Mm-hmm.
the display.
It's what you see.
Right, right, right.
Okay.
So, but in the previous, there are two different IC, the
Mm-hmm.
independently operated. But
Oh, the
uh,
touch and the display.
right, but
Uh-huh.
it costs a lot because the customer need to buy two different IC in two different suppliers.
Of course, yes.
So I made the idea if we
Mm-hmm.
integrated between touch IC and display IC,
Mm-hmm.
we can
Mm-hmm.
deliver the touch display IC in a
Wow.
cheaper cost. So
Right.
at the time I made the idea, all
Mm-hmm.
the relevant department members uh, don't agree. Didn't agree to develop such kind of IC because it is very difficult to develop, and the, it is easier to copy the product. Am I
Uh-huh.
right? But
Yes, of course.
it is
Uh-huh.
very difficult to make or to set the standard, the specification.
Right.
So for at the time, it is very uh, hard to spend time for me because all members, I felt like all members
Mhm.
didn't like
Mhm.
me. So I worked overtime every day, and I discussed with them, and I persuaded to accept my ideas.
How did you do that? How were you able to convince all the other departments
Uh,
that your idea would be effective? Did you need to do a prototype first? Did you show them any results of your SWOT analysis?
uh,
How
uh,
exactly did you convince them?
Actually, it was very difficult to convince them because I didn't have enough the material to
Mhm.
convince. But I can prepare some material which show our that product the value.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
just I com I just compare the cost between the
Okay.
previous one and TDDI.
Mhm. I
So
see. I
if
see.
I just show them how much we can reduce our cost uh, just by I estimated the cost
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
reduced by approximately the half in a half.
Oh, that's good. That's
Right.
a good number. If
So
the it's 50%, yeah.
right. So management at the time the management all management agree with
Mhm.
my opinion, my ideas. So uh, they uh,
Invested?
they
Time?
gave a they gave the power to
Mhm.
convince them, something like that.
Aha.
Uh,
Right, right.
hmm.
How many years did it take for your department to finish developing TDDI?
Around 1 year.
That's not bad at all.
we started
1 year.
we
Mhm.
started 2014
Mhm.
February,
Mhm.
but we are complete the we finishing development
Mhm.
in 2015 March, so around
I
1 year.
see. Wow, that's good. And now other companies are trying to walk along the same footsteps which you guys had started.
Right, right,
So you are a trendsetter. People would follow the actions that you're making because you have the capacity to make good and quality changes for the improvement of your company.
right.
Wow, that's good. So it must have been difficult for you to choose among the long list of achievements you have, but you selected something that's perfect. It's something that I think is really very appropriate in order to answer this question completely.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And it does sound like a great accomplishment. All
Thank
right.
you.
Welcome. Number 14 would be this. What are your expectations from an MBA program and the company, oh no, the institute offering it?
Mm, this uh mm, okay. I try to answer. Uh,
Okay.
out of uh, out of 155 the professional the faculties, uh, I expect that they will give a high quality lecture to us.
Mhm.
Among them, uh, I want to develop the leadership and the teamwork skill. Uh, So when I get to promotion to more higher position, uh, I think that kind of skill would be very helpful for me to manage our
Mhm.
company. So I think uh, the the teamwork and the leadership is I I want to the study the programs by from the Fudan business schools.
Mhm. Can you learn teamwork in a classroom?
Yes, I found
Mhm.
out the lecture in the Food and the Business Schools brochure.
Mhm.
So I
Okay.
I think that lecture also can be provided in the
I
MBA
see.
program.
Okay. All right. Okay. That is really good. And actually, when it comes to this question, the most that somebody can expect is to have to receive very good education, and
Mhm,
whether you become a very successful person after or not is not really related to the school. That
mhm,
would be up to you, your own study habits, and
mhm,
your own professionalism. And the most that you can really get from a good school is good education. What's going to come out after it later on is highly dependent on how skillful you are, I guess.
mhm. Okay.
Okay,
Mhm,
good. The next question, number 15,
mhm.
is this applicable for you and your situation, expectations in the first 90 days?
Ah, 90 days. Um,
Is this applicable?
mm, the 19 days means from started the semester,
Right,
right?
because from what I know, yes,
Mm,
that's right. Usually, this would be more effective if you're applying for a company instead of when you're applying for a school. The
mm-hmm,
first 90 days in a university talks about one semester or one term,
mm-hmm,
and I'm not sure what kind of answer should be needed here, and I'm not even sure if this is an appropriate
mm-hmm.
question to be asked for a school interview. What do you think?
I think 90 days is quite long for me because
Ah,
one semester is enough for me to study the MBA program, or also I can understand the what does what MBA program is.
yes.
So I think I expected to understand the MBA program, and I expected to have the relationship with the classmates and the professor, and also I expect
Hmm.
to have communication with the alumni. Uh, so I I can prepare the for the next semester uh,
Hmm.
using the time of 19 days.
Within the duration of 90 days.
Duration, right.
Why is it important to establish good and professional relationships with your professor and classmates?
Because in China, the most important thing is relationship.
Hmm.
Have you heard about 关系? 关系 is Chinese word.
Okay,
Is
关系 no.
关系 is the relationship.
Okay.
Even though I don't have money, or I don't have any ability to achieve something matter, But if I
Uh-huh.
have a relation with someone who is responsible for
Mhm.
uh, the something I want to do, and I can easily to achieve uh, the I
You
can
can get
easily
help.
achieve. Right, right, right. I, okay. For example, let me give
Mhm.
you a example.
Okay.
Uh, okay. I want to enter. I want to enter a the university, but I
Okay.
don't have enough the ability to enroll in
Mhm.
that the university.
Mhm.
But I know someone who is responsible for admission.
Mhm.
I can easily to enroll in that university. That is
With the
one.
help of your friend.
Right, right. That is the relationship in China.
Oh.
If we
Guanxi?
Right, right. If we were
Guanxi.
in
Uh-huh.
America or something
Mhm.
advanced the
Mhm.
countries,
Mhm.
uh, it is impossible to do to do that.
I see.
But in China, it's a
Mhm.
unique culture. Through the
Oh, I
relationship,
see.
through the 关系, can
Mhm. Guanxi.
can achieve all of things that I want to do.
It's very important. Now
Right.
that you talk to me about it, it sounds very practical and very important because
So,
from what I know, Chinese want to help each other. But if you're not Chinese, you may not really be considered as one of them. But if you're a classmate who speaks the language, you would be embraced as one of them.
right, right. So I can speak Chinese. So I think that
Hmm.
ability help to
Yes,
communicate it with Chinese. And
exactly. It does.
nowadays is for even short time for understand
Hmm.
some the lecture, but
Hmm.
it is enough for a long time to have
Hmm.
relationship with the Chinese who is the classmate or the professor.
Right. Right. Very good. So after that, you might even be able to start your own business in China if you want to,
Right,
if you
right,
want to expand your knowledge into
right,
something else aside from your
right,
work.
right,
All
right.
right. So those first 90 days are very important because you are very good with first impressions.
Right.
And I really mean it when I say that your first impression skills are great and I'm sure that it would be working also well for you once you're already in China.
Thank you.
Okay. I need your help. How do I want that this is I think it's the first time that I'm hearing something like this, or maybe I did, but I'm not really sure how to spell it. Guanji? How would I
关系，I gave
Guanxi?
关系。
Guanxi. Okay, thank you, Toby. It's something that I don't want to forget because I find it really very interesting and I really appreciate you sharing that information with me.
Right.
And at the same time, you also explained it really well. Okay, next question.
Mhm.
All right, here we go. Why do you think we should enroll you in this institute?
That question is also very similar with previous the question.
Okay.
Okay, I
Would you
I
like to
will.
answer this? Or
Okay, I repeat again.
okay, okay. Only if
In
you want to, because we can move on to the next one.
oh
Because I
I
remember that you did answer
oh,
this.
okay.
The
Uh,
weather, I know, the pollution. Okay, go on.
in 60 years of Samsung history, I was the only one who was selected as Samsung regional specialist and
Hmm.
for sponsored overseas management program. It means that I have proved my ability in our company for a long time.
Mhm.
Furthermore, the possibility that I get promotion to the management level uh,
Mhm.
of our company is much greater than any other co-workers. So
Mhm.
if if your business school grant me ignored,
Mhm.
I can much contribute to your business school as alumni.
Okay, good, good. And yes, I remember that. Actually, there are some questions here that sounds a bit repetitive,
Uh-huh.
sorry, or not applicable.
Mhm,
The next question would be one of them.
mhm.
So I would need your help here, Kobe. Which question would you think, or would you like to answer next?
Uh,
20 or something else?
Let me see.
Okay. And
Uh,
also, even if it's a second time I'm hearing that answer, it still sounds great. You were able to put in all the right elements, and
mm,
it's really hard to forget.
I think number 18. Where do
Oh,
you?
18. Okay. All right, let's do this. So, Kobe, where do you envision yourself in the near future?
When I finish the finish the MBA program, I need
Hmm.
to uh, come back to my office. I think our company will assign me to the management task, which I
Hmm.
would implement all my
Hmm.
knowledge,
Hmm.
and I may be coming back to China to uh, responsible for the Chinese business. Uh, so in near future, I will manage all of the Chinese business of our company.
So when I first heard you say something like that, I did not know that you were already working, that you were working in Samsung. I heard you mention that you would be part of the Chinese market, or you would be taking charge of the Chinese market. I
Right.
never thought that what you meant was Samsung China, and it sounds like a really huge and profitable market. So I'm
Mhm.
excited for your prospects in the future.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Mm,
So
thank you.
that's also why it's important for Guanxi. I'm using the term because you are going to be working and might be assigned to work in China.
Mhm.
So Guanxi would really play a very big, would
Right.
have a good role.
Right. The Guanxi is the player important
Mhm.
role in the
Mhm.
Chinese market.
Yeah. Yes.
So as I mentioned before, in
Mhm.
the 90 days,
Mhm.
I
Yes.
I will make up friends as a top priority,
Mhm.
and really will concentrate it on improving my relationship skill uh,
Yeah.
at, at the first time.
Right.
Mhm.
And I think that you really have your priorities straight.
Mhm.
Everything that you are doing now is in perfect coordination to what your plans are for the future and where you foresee yourself to be in the future after you finished your schooling in China. So everything appears to be very calculated, well thought of, and
Mhm.
well planned of also. So highly impressive.
Thank you.
Which one do we study next? I cannot ask number
Mhm, mhm.
19 unless
No,
you have questions for me.
I think number 19 is would be good because I've
Okay,
heard. Okay. Mm.
yes. I want you to continue saying what you were asking or what you were saying. What about question 19?
Uh, I have one question. Mm,
Yes.
about your business program, MBA program. I got a lot of information from brochure
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
your the administrator gave me, but I still have a question to ask you. I heard that your the business school is now constructing the new building for MBA program. Can I know what purpose of that building in detail? And can I use that building if I were in your business school student?
Okay, I have no answer to that, right? I can
Right.
invent my answer,
I,
and I would say, oh, uh-huh.
I have a question. Just
Yes.
I just answer.
Hmm.
I just told you that building or
Hmm.
constructing a new building, is that right? Am I
Yes.
right? Mm.
Yes. Hold on. I heard that you are currently in the process of constructing a new
Constructing.
building. You can
Mm.
also say it. I heard that you're currently in the process of
Process.
constructing a new building. I
Ah.
have some questions and I want to know more details about that.
Ah.
Would that
Yeah.
be open for MBA students like me?
Mhm.
Am I allowed to use the facilities
Am I
of
allowed to
that
use?
building? Is that Mhm. Yeah.
Mm.
And also, if I were the administrator answering that question, I would say something vague like, oh, you just have to wait and find out what it's for. But is it true that they are constructing a new building?
Right, right, true. That
I
is,
see.
I have a friend who is a student, is currently
Ah,
student in Fudan
uh-huh.
Business School. He,
He's enrolled there.
right, he, he, he got, he
It told you.
told me about that.
Hmm.
So that information is very something secret or is not open to
Oh,
public.
it's not
So
right. It's not public knowledge. Yes.
right, right. So I chose the question. That is kind of hidden
Hmm.
question.
Okay, all right. So what you're asking this question
Mhm.
not because you really want to know details about
Right,
this building, but you're letting your interviewer know how interested you
right,
are
right, right.
about the school. Okay, that's good.
Something like
That's a good approach. Uh-huh.
have them surprising. Oh, how do you
Right,
know that?
exactly.
Like that.
Okay. It is a very good way to elicit a reaction and to make
Mhm.
sure that you would remain memorable.
Right. Right.
And that
Actually,
is
I don't
nice.
care the building what it what would be.
Yeah. But whatever your answer is, react the same way. Oh, that's nice. Because of
Right.
course they would be answering that.
Right. Right.
Okay, good. Interesting. Um, where will this interview take place? Would you fly to Shanghai for this?
Right. Actually, I don't have to go to China to take an interview. It is possible
Okay.
to use Skype. The online interview is
Mm.
also would be okay. And telephone phone interview also would be okay. But I want
Oh,
to
uh-huh.
give some surprise or some impress get give give
A
them
first impression.
suppression, right?
Uh-huh. Yes. A
So
strong first impression. So how would you
I
do that?
right. So I
Hmm.
use my money to fly
Hmm.
to fly to China.
Oh, to Shanghai, I see. That's a lot of investment, and I'm sure that you instinctively know the things that would be effective for you. I mean, your intuition when it comes to your future and business perspective
Mm,
had proven to be very good in the past.
right.
And if your intuition would ask you to fly to China for extra impact, I think you should
Right.
listen to it.
Right.
Right. The same way that you listen to your instinct about DDI.
Right.
So you're saying that you already have an airplane ticket to China in a few, and you're scheduled to fly in a few weeks.
Uh, that is the interview schedule is not fixed yet. So I
Oh.
haven't my I haven't bought a flight ticket,
Mhm.
but
Mhm. I
because
see.
this is the process. This is in the process of admission.
Okay.
Uh, uh,
Mhm.
November 15 is the deadline of the applying the documents, and then
Okay.
they will uh, let me know
Mhm.
the detailed schedule of interview.
Mhm. Mhm. I see. And that's a time where you would be scheduling and booking a flight.
Right, right.
I'm curious because I'm not sure how it works both in China and Korea. In our country, if you want to get accepted in a very good university, you do not really need to worry about the interview because as long as you pass and do well on the aptitude test, that would be your ticket. That's your qualifying marks into getting enrolled in a good school. Is
Hmm.
the interview really an important part in getting accepted in the school?
Actually, uh, interview is the most important part for the admission
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because the English skill
Ah,
is the most important for
I
admission.
see.
So
Oh,
even
really?
even
Uh-huh.
though I applied all materials in English, including the
Mhm.
essay, the resume, something like that, but
Mhm.
they don't
Mhm.
believe all kinds of the material in written written
Okay.
material. They don't believe it. Just
Uh-huh.
peer-to-peer, one-on-one
Mhm.
interview is
Mhm.
quite
Mhm.
qualified.
I see. All right. And I really believe in what you're saying. It's because of the actions that backs up what you just said. If you really put high importance in the interview, that's the main reason why you're flying there instead of agreeing to conduct the interview on
Right,
internet calls like this.
right, right.
So good first impression is good, and also this interview is it like you mentioned it is a big percent towards getting admitted to this university, so they would be able to assess if what you wrote on the
Right,
paper is actually true,
yeah,
and
right,
also if you have the capacity to understand all the lessons in the university.
right, right, right. Right.
I see. Okay, very
Mm,
interesting.
mm.
Any other questions for number 19?
Nothing.
Okay. See, if you would fly there, then you would see the building being constructed. Unless it's hidden. All right.
I my friends told me that
Mm-hmm.
if I if I come to the campus,
Mm-hmm.
he will guide he will guide me tour
Mm-hmm.
the
Wow.
campus. So I maybe see the that
Mm-hmm.
building which is in
Ah, I
process
see.
of the construction. As-
I see. Is your friend the one who is enrolled in that school? Is he also Korean or is he Chinese?
Korean.
He's
It's a
Korean.
right. He is uh, actually not friend. Uh, he is a
Coworker?
coworker. Right.
Okay.
Uh,
He is a coworker who
right.
is studying in China, so you have your own version of Guanxi, of Korean Guanxi.
Right, right.
Okay, they're in China. Okay, interesting. So let's go to number 20. I don't think that this would really happen
Mhm.
to you, but it would be good to answer this. What is your plan B if you do not get accepted into this or any other business school?
Uh, I never thought about I I failed to enroll in your business school, but
Mm-hmm.
if I fail to enroll your business school, I
Mm-hmm.
will try to again for admission for your business school next time. However, if I don't get accepted, I will try to apply for the other business school, which is still contact me. Because the MBA program is highly required for the getting promotion. So
Mm-hmm.
I never I never stop to study MBA program.
Do you have ongoing applications with any other MBA schools or just this one?
Sorry, pardon.
Are you also applying with any other schools
Mhm,
aside from this, or
mhm.
is this the only application that you have?
You means frankly saying
Hmm.
or just
I
for
don't know.
answering?
What's your official answer?
actually, actually,
If they would ask, what would you say?
I
Uh-huh.
don't have any interest in the business school. I just only
Yeah.
one. That business school
Mhm.
is only one school I apply
Mhm.
for.
Yeah. But what would you tell them? Is that the answer you're going to say? Because actually, to be perfectly honest, I think that if you would tell them directly that you only have eyes set for that school and you would only start applying in case it doesn't work out there. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to say that or not, but what if they ask? What will you do?
Actually, Franklin said, I never thought about I
Mhm.
failing to the enrollment. Uh,
Mhm.
but I just um,
Mhm.
if I said to them,
Mhm.
uh, I applied, I only apply for uh, their business school, they uh,
Mhm.
they might be think of me as a very light person. Just there is consider me not important person. So I just want to give them a
Mhm.
tendency. Uh,
Okay. All right. I understand. That's right. But by then, actually, by now, if let's say they would be asking questions in that format, they
mhm,
would have already noted on their clipboards a lot of your strong qualities, the one that was mentioned,
mhm,
and it is also quite evident that your interest in the school is great.
mhm,
I guess
okay.
there's no easy way to answer this, but what I liked about your answer is that when you made it clear that whether it's with this school or not, nothing will stop you from getting your MBA because this is what you want to do with your time and you really want to have this MBA because it is important for your career also. So that's the impression I had with your answer. Whether if you would enroll in this school or with any other school, you are going to graduate with that MBA degree no matter what.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good. I think it's
Okay.
good to say that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Question number 21 is something that I've heard from you on two separate occasions. And on top of that, you also said that it's part of the syllabus of the lessons. So it talks about teamwork
Mm-hmm.
and being a team player. Are you a
Uh,
team player?
I think a kind of team player. Since the semiconductor is a highly complex product, so cooperating with other coworkers is highly required. Uh, when we develop new product, I first
Mm-hmm.
made a draft version of product specification and discussed with development team members. And I made our marketing and sales team members understand how high the product value is. Through this process, we could make high advanced and quality product. So if I were not a team player, I we cannot do the high quality product. We cannot do
That's right.
develop the high quality product.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And this is a bit of a side question in addition to the question here. Since you mentioned that you are a team player,
Mm-hmm.
would you consider yourself to be a leader or a follower in your team?
I think I was team leader
Mm-hmm.
because I for all of things I first made and give the other person to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
So I just a kind of team leader.
Okay, all right, good. It's not part of the list, and I'm just curious about how some people would answer that, because that's one of the most common interview questions
Mm-hmm.
that I would hear, and there are different ways to answer it. So good that your answer shows confidence,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows how much more you want to learn when it comes to leadership and different approaches and techniques. All right, hold on. Next question,
Mm-hmm.
right? I what happened to my page? It suddenly
Uh,
stopped. Okay, so what is the next question? Because my page suddenly, I'm sorry, it froze a bit.
Number 22. Will you be able
Right.
to?
Accomplish
Mm.
your goals without an MBA. Have you answered this already?
Frankly said,
I think you
I
did.
uh,
Uh huh.
in this afternoon, I prepared
Mhm.
for the all of question. I just
Mhm.
made script for every questions, but
You
that question.
did. It didn't sound. Uh huh. I did not know it was
Without
you
this,
were reading.
how can I do? How can I
No,
answer?
because you sound so natural. Okay, so that's what you were doing at the coffee shop.
Right. Just a
All
turn.
right.
I just summarize
Mhm. Mhm.
how I can answer for every question. Just
Mhm.
and
All
I
right.
uh,
Well,
I made
it's
a script like
okay.
this.
I did not realize that you were I'm not sure if you're reading right now or not, but just in case you are reading,
Huh?
I don't feel like you were reading. I felt like you were talking to me. I did not feel like there was a piece of paper in front of you, or, the answers are in front of you and you're reading from it. So that method is effective. But my question is, would you like to answer this particular number, or have you already answered this earlier? Because I
Ah,
think I know what your answer would be.
I think I have not answered that question.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. But the reason why you're taking an MBA is because you would be better qualified for a higher position.
Ah.
And if you do not have the MBA, I want to hear your answer.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, uh, if I will, okay, I'll try to answer. Hmm.
Okay.
Mm. Although I have a sense of management skill and leadership skill,
Mhm.
I need to
Mhm.
study MBA program in order to be a good leader in the near
Mhm.
future. Our
Mhm.
company members are approximately 200,000. So, high professional management skill is highly required for being the CEO. So, uh, that's why I have to study, I have to learn the MBA program.
And would you be able to accomplish your goals even if you do not have, say something happens
So
and
that
mhm.
that I want to say is uh, no, without an MBA,
Okay.
I do not able to accomplish any goal.
All right.
Uh,
That's good. So it would be good to answer that directly.
uh,
In this day and age, with highly competitive market, a lot of very good and effective leadership skills would be needed. That's why it is best for people in the management position to have MBA at the very minimum. Without an MBA degree, it's not very likely that I would be able to accomplish my goals. So what I'm
mhm,
setting the goals that I'm setting for myself right now is to be able to get an MBA, and nothing will
mhm.
really stop me from achieving that goal.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah, so that it would be good to answer it directly with a no, and let
Okay.
them know that you are really bent towards getting that goal done.
Mhm.
All
Right.
right. So number 23,
23.
what challenges are you looking for in this
Ah,
what
what
challenges are you looking for?
in this position means
Hmm.
what does it mean?
I think I think that this question is not really designed for an interview for a
Right,
university.
right, right,
It
right.
sounds like it sounds
Hiring,
like it,
hiring, hiring someone. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
promoting someone.
Right, 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 right. So let's
Hmm.
skip this question.
Okay, let's do that. What ex- how about number 24?
24 and 25 and 26. Those are not related with MBA program interview.
But
Am I right?
27 is. Yes.
Yeah. 27 is
27
kind
is
of
answerable.
answer. Right, 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 right. Let's try it. I try. I
Okay,
try to
all
answer.
right.
Mhm.
So, have you ever had a conflict with the boss or a professor? How is it resolved?
Uh, Absolutely, yes. I'm a person who is pushing forward by acting according to my belief. So sometimes I had a conflict with my boss. Uh,
Hmm.
for example, in the recent project, whereas my boss set increasing market share as a top the
Hmm.
priority, I
Hmm.
set high technologies as a top priority. So when the conflict occurs, I first try to listen my boss, and I seek to alternative the solution uh, because I don't want to have conflict with my boss for a long time.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's why that is my the secret skill to get high high
Level
uh,
of success.
right. That is skill I
Hmm.
was compensated by the company.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So, if I learned something from your answer, if if I understand right, at least during the situation situation where you would feel conflict with either the boss or the professor,
Mhm.
listen, hear him out first,
Mhm.
and try to really listen and do what he or she is suggesting
Mhm.
before you have any strong feelings about it. That
Mhm.
way, there would be no conflict.
Mhm.
So it
Uh,
talks about keeping an open mind,
right, right, right,
being very open minded to
right.
whatever their suggestions are. All right,
Wow.
very good. I really think that you're great, Kobe. I can't really, I am very much intrigued and with your story and also with your answers. I know that you really prepared a lot for this,
Thank
and
you.
I have a very good feeling about how well your interview is going to be
Thank you.
and how much you're going to enjoy Shanghai. So I would have to cut this now and I
Mhm.
need to say goodbye.
Okay.
Thank you so much for, the past 2 hours.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Have a
Thank,
nice
thank you.
evening. Bye.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
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 Heard that you are currently